Hi grade 6. I'm just here in my yard and I'm going to show you some of the trees that grow here. We have to learn about the difference between deciduous and coniferous trees in Science 6. It's kind of windy. I hope the wind isn't too loud. These two coniferous trees here are spruce trees that my uncle planted almost 100 years ago. So they're very huge, and you can tell a coniferous tree because, well, one of the ways that you can tell that it's a coniferous tree is because it produces a lot of cones. And so you can see all the cones on the ground that are falling off the tree. There's my dog. She's helping me make the video. And you can also see that this spruce tree has needles instead of leaves. Can you hear my rooster crowing in the background? Let's see if we can find some cones right on the tree. Looks like many of them have fallen off. We might have to look at another tree to see if we can find some cones that are growing right on the tree. Here's one of my roosters. His name is Rocky Road Ice Cream. I think he looks like Rocky Road Ice Cream. That's why I call him that. Okay, so now I'm walked over towards a different kind of coniferous tree that grows in my yard, which is actually a pine tree. I'm gonna look over here and we can see that there's little tiny cones growing on the tree. And pine trees have needles as well, but they're very long needles compared to a spruce tree. You can see that they're probably, well, we can do a comparison. I'm going to take a couple of these needles from the pine tree off, and we'll go over here and compare them to the spruce tree. And you'll see the difference in length. Sorry, I'm wiggling the video everywhere. So you can kind of see, you know, the pine needles are way longer than the spruce needles, and they're also a slightly different color green. So one of the things that one of the learning outcomes that we need to learn in grade 6 science is to be able to identify at least two coniferous trees and two types of deciduous trees. And so right now I've just shown you two different kinds of coniferous trees, a spruce tree and a pine tree. And you can tell the difference by the cones. Their cones are different and the needles are different lengths and also different colors. Okay, so just approaching my outhouse here because I wanted to show you these poplar trees. This is not a coniferous tree. These ones are very small. This one's a bigger size over here. You can see that there's leaves on the branches, not needles, and there's no cones. So this is a deciduous tree. I'll show you the leaves. Poplar trees have a round leaf and a smoother bark. It's a fairly smooth bark. I'm going to go back and show you how the bark is on the spruce tree and the pine tree. I just bought a new selfie stick that I'm just trying it out today. So you can see that the bark on this pine tree is got a lot more texture. All these little lines are on it. Also, deciduous trees lose their leaves in the fall. So you might be noticing that there's a lot of crunching dried leaves on the ground, and that when you look at the trees, the leaves are starting to turn autumn colors like yellow, orange, or red or brown. And if you look on the ground, you can notice a lot of leaves on the ground at this time of year. Sometimes people are raking them up. Sometimes they leave them to rake up until the spring. This is a different kind of tree. It's a willow tree. You can see that the leaves on this tree are long, much longer than the poplar tree. I want to take us over to the maple trees behind my house so we could see what a maple tree would be like. Okay, so behind my house here, near my pasture, I have a row of maple trees, and you can see that they've already turned some beautiful fall colors, very yellow. They have quite a bit of texture on the trunk. They have these, they produce these helicopter seeds that they blow all around in the wind, and new maple trees will grow in all kinds of places, even between the cracks in the sidewalk, because the seed will land in there and it will grow. And so hanging on this tree are quite a few of those seed pods. And you can see how the leaves on the maple tree are different than the leaves on the willow tree that I showed you, or the leaves on the poplar tree. So that's how we can distinguish the differences in trees, is by how the leaves look, how the texture of the bark, the colors. Maybe you can think of some other ways that we're able to differentiate the different kinds of trees. Right behind my maple trees, I have some more spruce trees as well. And this one doesn't have many cones on it either. I know there's one behind my barn that's loaded with cones. Maybe we'll go take a look at that one later.